Hey guys, Antonio from Real Men Real Style. I've got Tim Francis here again. Actually, he didn't leave. We're just shooting a video right after the last one. But I said, Tim, I need to get some tips from you. You are a tall, thin gentleman, and you're dressing sharp, and you've probably got some tips for the readers, for the listeners, for the viewers out there who are in the same situation as you, who are taller, thinner, and in a sense, they want to look more proportioned. They want to look a little bit more built. So the first thing, I'm looking at, you've got really rocking your hair. You're wearing a jacket. Your clothing overall fits you pretty well. You're pulling off those glasses. I mean, you have just got some tricks. And so can you start to talk about, I think the biggest thing I see whenever I see you is your hair. And that really, I mean, whenever I was looking for Tim in the conference, I'm looking around, there's 2,000 people walking around. I'm like, where's the fro? And you've got a good story in the sense of you didn't even know you had curly hair for the longest time. So tell me a little bit about your hair and how you use it for your personal style.
Great, yeah. So for the longest time, I just dressed according to what my mom thought. You know what I mean? And also like the circle of friends, because a hockey player, and there's like always a code. Like the emo kids are one way, the hockey kids another way, the football kids another way, right? Yeah. And so I was just so worried about not being different than anybody else. I didn't even know that I had curly hair. It was always so short, and remember for a while in the 90s there was like the little like snowboard jump at the front or whatever. Yeah. Oh my goodness. So it was one of those things that I didn't even know I had it. And then I started realizing, I got some feedback once that I looked like a college kid behind the drums. And that is not, there's no credibility in that when you're rocking out behind the drums. I'm not a drummer anymore, but it really forced me to kind of do a little bit of soul searching. And I had to break away from, well, I didn't have to, but I chose to break away from that mold. And the reaction that I got as soon as I had just a little bit of peacocking was amazing. In the last video I talked about feather boas and all kinds of crazy stuff like that in the club, but even in a business conference like this, how many guys have long hair like this? And how many? Very few. Yeah. And how many people have the confidence to just like go and do it?
Well, I think you see some guys with long hair and they got the long hair pulled back in the ponytail, and nothing against that, but it's not very. It's more of like a hippie older man look. And I mean, this is something that still is pretty professional. I mean, it's not super long, and it stands out. And in marketing, from what I hear, standing out is oftentimes a good thing.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And I think that, so there's a few elements of peacocking, if you will, that I've got going on. One is my hair. Another is a pocket square. As if this isn't one of the highest return on investment items that I've ever purchased as far as fashion.
Okay, stop right here. Pocket square. I told you guys, if you've got a breast pocket on your jacket, rock it with a pocket square. Okay, back.
And guess what? What else I discovered about a pocket square? Maybe you've covered this in another video, but this is actually the wrong side of the pocket square. This is the back side. This is the proper side. It's got black and paisley and all the rest, but that's a little bit loud against all of this. This is lightly striped and all the rest. So I wanted something, especially in a business conference, to be a little bit more subdued, less pattern, and so just fold it up 3 times like so. It's actually the back side of the pocket square. It's a single color silver, just like that in there. Spread it out. I mean, that's a little bit messy because I'm doing this quickly, and all of a sudden now it pops. How many other guys are wearing a pocket square? And it can, what was this, like $8 or something like that? Amazing.
Now let's talk about your glasses. Okay. I mean, you could be wearing contacts. How come you decide to wear glasses?
Yeah, that's a good question. Frankly, right now, I don't need contacts. I'm not in any contact sports. Like when I work out, I go to CrossFit. There's no like hitting or anything like that. So there's no like need for contact lenses. I picked business style glasses because that's my area of work. And I do think that at some point I'd like to actually get LASIK or laser eye surgery so that it becomes more of a choice, like more of an option. And I just realized that kind of in my, when I take a look at what is the general sphere of people that I'm working with, that glasses, in fact, in the business setting can be quite smart and can give a certain impression that I've got important things to say.
Now, we're focusing in on the tall and thin man, so I'm going to skip. He talks about in our other video about why he wears earrings and the reaction he got with the earrings. But let's go ahead and talk about this jacket. I mean, why don't you just simply wear a shirt around here? Why are you pulling off this jacket?
Oh, I think we'll need you to give the science breakdown, but all I know is when I put it on, it's just like, it's like fit and finished, and it's like I'm here, and it's presence. It gets such a reaction, like, I know the feeling, it's just, it feels right, it feels good, it's it's the right complement to everything else that goes on, and it kind of has presence to say, here I am. Like the V shape, you know, of everything of the shirt and like the tailoring in the waist and everything.
Yeah.
It definitely gives a presence, and the number of people that I just see reaction, like when I'm walking along and they kind of like double take a little bit, it's like, okay, that's interesting. I didn't get that reaction if, you know, in the past before I started wearing jackets and pocket squares and those kinds of things. So maybe in your opinion, what's your breakdown of
Well,
things?
we usually, what we talk about with a tall, thin gentleman, the reason he wants to wear the jacket is it's going to build out the shoulders. It's going to make the waist a bit smaller. With the tall, thin gentleman, he doesn't really have an issue with the waist needing to look smaller, but what he doesn't want is the waist to look big or for him to look like a big square. So in this case, I mean, you've got a good fit here in the shoulders. You want to focus on that. It doesn't build you up too much, not like a linebacker. And it just gives you a more masculine, more built look. And it works really, because a lot of tall, thin gentlemen look like they have smaller shoulders. And remember, with tall, thin gentlemen, and we'll get back, why was the hair so important? The reason the hair was so important is because Tim's, usually with tall, and this is across the board, with taller, thinner gentlemen, is that usually their head, in proportion to the rest of their body, appears to be a little bit smaller than a man who's a bit shorter. And usually short men have the complete opposite problem. Their head looks bigger in proportion to the rest of their body, and that makes them look like a baby and cute, and you don't want to go down that route. So you have the, the problem of you don't want to look like a giant, and your hair actually makes your head look a little bit bigger, which makes you look more proportioned. So getting back to the jacket, now let's talk about the overall fit. One thing I like about your jacket is it's actually long enough, and tall men want to avoid wearing clothing that's ever, if it's too short on you, either get the sleeve lengthened or do not wear it. Because if you wear clothing and you're tall and it's too small on you, it's just going to make you look just going to make you look odd. It's going to make you look bigger, and you're going to go from looking tall to looking lanky and out of place. Now, how is it for you shopping? You had a shirt on the other day that was a great fit, and you got that where at Express, you said?
Yeah, Express, yeah.
Yeah. And what did you feel? I mean, what was so great about that shirt?
It just makes my chest look big. That's one of my favorite things. Now, the thing is, why that happens is because of the fit of it. If you go to just kind of standard menswear stores, like that you would go to for a wedding or something like that, they're pretty boxy. Like the shirts are just cut and they're kind of baggy around here. Whereas as soon as I put that shirt on, I immediately knew like the armpit holes were a little bit higher, a little bit tailored in at the waist, and again you'd be able to break it down better. But there's something about the collar that was just a nice presence, not big. Man, I've seen some venture capitalists with just disgusting huge collars. They just look like D-bags. Like, I just think it looks disgusting. It's like...
Hopefully mine's not too
no,
bad.
yours is great.
I'm not a VC looking guy here.
Yeah,
I've been mistaken for a VC. I was walking through Austin, Texas, and somebody saw it. I was wearing a jacket into an event, and they asked if I was an investor or a VC. So
okay,
it could happen. But, yeah.
Well, yeah, the guy that... This is my personal preference. Big, like, huge collar like this, and then, like, 4 buttons down. And it's just like, what are we doing here? So, at any rate, this particular shirt, just something with the collar, it had a nice... It just sat nicely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, good. And last thing, let's talk about you guys. I know you can't see the jeans, you can't see the shoes, but as a taller gentleman, what do you find with your pants, with your jeans, with your trousers? Is it hard to find good fit, or is it pretty easy for you?
I would say that I'm still, I don't need to go to the big and tall stores.
Yeah.
So I'm still able to kind of stay with pretty standard sizes.
Mm-hmm.
But for me, it's one of those things where you put it on and I just kind of know. I used to kind of hide behind baggier clothes. And there's something about something that fits a little bit tighter in the legs, it's just better tailored, that immediately it... I'm having a tough time putting it to words, but I just know. I put it on and it's like, okay, that looks good.
Okay, well, if you find a great pair of fitting pants, gentlemen, you're not going to be able to explain it, because Tim is one of the smartest guys I know here. And no, Tim, check out Tim over at timfrancis.com, Tim Francis Marketing, and he's got a great, just do a quick Google search on him. He's also got a pretty good iTunes channel, which I did an interview with him as well, and we talked about YouTube marketing. But Tim, thank you very much for your insights. Guys, some great tips Hope you go back and learn some of this, and I'll try to, let me know by giving this a like or leaving some comments down below what you think of this series I'm doing with men I'm meeting, and I think have a, you know, some good style and can give you guys tips, real tips from guys that are out there living, breathing, and working and making these things happen. So.
And I know that when we rolled into some of the sessions today, the marketing thing, there's a few people that kind of went, oh, and they didn't even know what we did, right? Just based on how we're dressing. So thank you. It's an honor to be here, and be sure to keep following Antonio because you've got some good stuff, man.
Okay. And if you guys want more on men's style, you know where to go. realmenrealstyle.com. Check out my free 47-page ebook. I'm going to link to it right down below. I've got lots of great information. I could be charging for this. I don't know how much I could charge, but I definitely, it is good. It's solid. And that is about it. I'll see you guys in the next video. Take care. Bye-bye.